We'll ask everyone to please take a seat at this time or gather under the tent. I want to welcome all of you here as well as everyone that's viewing online. For those of you present here at the cemetery, just a gentle reminder, if you have a cell phone with you, to please place it in the silent mode or turn it off completely. That would be appreciated. The services for Claire B. Previn will be officiated by Rabbi Barry Schechter.
מזמור לדוד, אדוני מי יגביה לך, מי ישכן בהר קודשך, הולך תמים ופועל צדק, ודובר אמת בלבבו, לא רגל לשונו, לא עשה לרעהו רע, וחרפה לא נשא על קרבו. נבזה בעיניו נמאס, ואת יראי אדוני יכבד, נשבע לרע ולא יאמיר, כספו לא נתן בנשך, ושוחד על נקי לא לקח. Seile lo yemot liolam. God, who may abide in your house, who may dwell in your holy mountain, those who are upright, who do justly, who speak the truth within their hearts, who do not slander others or wrong them or bring shame upon them, who give their word and come what may, do not retract, who do not exploit others. Those who live in this way shall never be shaken. Dear friends, we're here for a sad and difficult occasion to say goodbye, which is one of the most difficult things we can ever do, but also to pay tribute and to honor the memory and, even if possible, to celebrate the life of Claire Previn, the daughter of Frida and David, who's gone to eternal rest at the age of 88, and leaves behind a family and friends who really loved her very, very dearly. First, I should mention her husband Ron, to whom we said goodbye not so long ago. They were married for, was it 62 years? Is that right? 63 years, excuse me, I'm sorry. And also, of course, the family who is here, and many are watching online. The children, Stacy and her Tom, Andrew, Andy and his Janelle, grandchildren Remington, Flynn, Jordan and Kyle. I should also mention her late brother Dennis and his late wife Sylvia. And we're going to begin by hearing from Andy, who will speak to us about your mother.
All right, thank you everybody for coming. Just a couple quick things. My mom, how do you thank someone who took care of you before you really knew who you were and what you were all about? And I really was grateful for her for all the things she did kind of quietly and peacefully as I grew up. I didn't even realize until I became a parent. And the second thing about Mom that I really love was the fact that she let me free think, and I didn't really have any particular influences from her. She let me read what I wanted, listen to what I wanted, do what I wanted, make my own decisions, and find my own path. She didn't really get in the way, and I really always will appreciate that. It became central to my being to be just more of like a consensus builder, pragmatist, listen to other people's opinions, and that's what mostly I got about my mom. So at this point, I just really appreciate everyone coming out today, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Andy, and thank you, Stacy and Andy, both for speaking to me about your mum. Of course, I've met you, as I said, not too long ago, and you told me that she was born in Boston and traveled around a lot because her father, David, was an accountant for the State Department, and they lived in different places in Rome, Rio, Madrid, Washington D.C. She went to Boston University, and after getting her degree, she met Ron. I think said it was a blind date. It took a long time. In 2 months, they were engaged. She made they both made quick decisions, I guess. Well, I'm not sure. Was it one of their decisions, or do you think it was both? It was a joint speedy decision, and they were married a year later. So for those of you who are not married, remember this: move quickly. We've got to learn from the people we love. They lived in Cleveland for 8-10 years, and then he had a job offer in Chicago. Lived here in Wilmette, Arlington Heights, Buffalo Grove, Lincolnshire, then Buffalo Grove again. Now, she was a homemaker. She had worked initially in Cleveland as a secretary in a doctor's office. And then she raised you, both of you, as you said, giving you the freedom, but also the direction that children need. And I think Stacey, when you were a sophomore, she went back to work. She was a buyer's assistant for Walgreens in the corporate office in Deerfield, and she was there for 27 years. Now, I've been having discussions with both Stacey and Ron on the very important subject of food. Not Ron, I'm sorry, that would be impossible. I beg your... Yeah, he would agree with you. So Ron, you're the representative of Andy. You're the representative of Ron in the food department. There's no question about it. Stacey's an outlier compared to you. So I've got very different views, not on what was made, but on certain general attitudes. Anyway, Andy, you and Meatloaf are close relations. She made it, loved it. There was also the chocolate cake, which you were very enthusiastic about, and the neighbors were very enthusiastic about, and your mum was very enthusiastic about, correct? Yes. Stacey, you tried to introduce her to different foods with limited success. You actually got her to try, I can mention this, can't I? Yeah, hummus. And she actually enjoyed it. Are you aware of this, Andy? Do you know this story? See, you learn about your mum from me, can you imagine? She really enjoyed it. However, when she learned of the ingredients, which are two of the most dangerous things that exist in the world, namely chickpeas and tahini oil, she was a little, what's the word you would use? She was put off, yes. It somewhat diminished the joys that she'd received from eating. In any event, she cooked, she baked, she cooked for Ron, for her husband, as you said, for a lifetime. It was always there. They would eat together. And as you said, also, food is actually very important. When we remember someone who has provided it to us from the time we were tiny, or to her husband for a lifetime. She liked sports. Andy, she was a great fan of yours. Playing football, they were there for all your games. She washed your uniform, right? You had the cleanest uniform in the team, correct? So when they asked you, how's it so clean? What did you say? Well, I do it myself. No, you told them, yeah. So she really looked after you, and the two of them actually watched sports together. In fact, I think you told me that even in the nursing home, when her mind wasn't as good as it had been previously, she enjoyed watching football. And back in Cleveland, the two of them, Ron and Claire, went to baseball and football games together. You told me, and I learned this last time as well, that there were friends that you went to for Passover, Sol and Reba Greenberg in Morton Grove. And There were other friends at one time, Chuck and Linda Friedman in Buffalo Grove, and in Ohio, Arnie and Ellen. These were friends whom they would visit, or would come to visit them once in a while. You had wonderful memories, I think both of you, of going to visit your grandparents, Frida and David, in Winthrop, Massachusetts. That was for quite a number of weeks in the summer, and you really loved going there. Frida was from England, I'm glad to tell you. Not from London, but Liverpool, that's also okay. And you said she had a wonderful laugh. Was a delightful person, and they were both, Frida and David were both wonderfully gentle people who made you feel lovely, and just thinking about them now makes you have warm and beautiful memories. They lived across the street from the Atlantic Ocean, so in your minds, I can't imagine living across the street from the ocean. This must be it's something wonderful. Stacy, when you were living in France, in Toulouse, they visited you. In fact, they stayed longer than they or you had intended. But you had a very, very large place. I think it was one room, wasn't it? Nonetheless, they came all that way to see you. Andy, you and Janelle lived in Florida for a number of years. Did they come to see you there, of course? You said that you told me that that she and Ron had a wonderful relationship, that sometimes, as happens in all marriages, there'd be a disagreement. But then they could make each other laugh and would come together again. I don't mean they were apart, but laughter is a marvelous healing, wonderful device. The Yiddish writer Sholem Aleichem, who wrote the stories of Tevye, on which Fiddler on the Roof is based, he has a famous saying in Yiddish: Lachen is gesund. Laughter is healthy. Doktorim heißen lachen. Doctors prescribe laughter. They don't, but they should, actually. And when you hear of a couple that can laugh together to make them feel good or to come closer together, that's something wonderful. She was very proud also, Stacy, of your wonderful artistic abilities and achievements. And unlike what one can imagine some parents would say if someone's going to art, I don't have to imagine hard, actually, to think of some parents, not necessarily Jewish parents, saying, art. It's really, how can you do that? I mean, it's all very nice, it's very pretty after all, but how can you do that? You've got to make a living. But that wasn't that at all. You had the opposite there from both of them. So really both of them were very open to both of you. They were very, very, very close to the grandchildren. You told me even when her mind was really not there, she would always ask, how are the children? How are the boys? She liked to read a lot. You said mysteries, crossword puzzles. I think Ron's parents had a place, you told me, in Sunrise Lakes, right, which you would visit occasionally. She had, how should I say this? She had, Claire, despite the fact that she travelled around, she had certain very fixed ideas about gender roles, right? I think she said to your dad, he wanted to go to her doctor. She said, "You're going to go to a woman doctor?" Well, this lady was someone who, just the very last bit of her life was difficult. You know, sometimes we tell people to see things in perspective. And I always tell people on occasions such as this, don't see them in perspective. Because think about it, what does perspective mean? I mean, in art or in life, perspective means that the things that are nearer loom larger, correct? If you look at a painting, I mean, in art, what is perspective? It means that the things that are nearer are larger. Well, the recent things are larger. You know, the most recent things in your memory are larger. You want to see it in proportion. You want to see that from the vast majority of a life, proportionately. Everything was wonderful. It was very, very good. It's just the last little bit that was difficult, which happens with a lot of people. But the great bulk of her life, was a life in which she loved her husband and did things for him and raised children and did so much for you and loved grandchildren. That's the vast, vast, vast majority of her life. The greatest proportion of her life. Just the last little bit has been difficult because of what can happen to all of us. So that's what I talked about at the beginning, about celebrating her life. Someone who really made you feel good, made you feel free, supported you in whatever it was, in sports, in life, in judgment, in art, in professional advancement. This is what you will remember when you think back of all the lovely times. So we salute her now. She is reunited, as it were. I don't know what you believe about what happens after we go. In Judaism, we believe firmly, whatever you hear from some rabbis, that this is not the end. It's the end in the sense that we can understand it. That there's no question. It's not someone else. You know, we don't go to some other place and carry on. In that sense, we don't believe. But in the sense that we cannot understand that somehow there is a continued existence. And if you want to believe that she is reunited with Ron, I think that gives a wonderful feeling. So, as I say, we salute someone who is a wonderful wife, mother, grandmother on this day. She's at peace now. She's in no pain. And of her I say, Tehei nishmata tzurura b'tzroch hachayim, which means may her soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. And to her I say, Claire, daughter of Frida and David, Lechi b'shalom, go in peace, gain Frieden, habe Lecht in Gan Eden, may your repose be in paradise. You will never be forgotten. You'll always be remembered in love by those who knew you and loved you and those whom you knew and you loved. Amen. We're going to read the 23rd Psalm, which you have in these little booklets. Could you join me, please? Open them. It's on the top left. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Come with me, please. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. If you can, only those who can, could you please stand now? Just if you can, don't stand if it's difficult. And if you're wearing these ribbons, could you come together near me, please? If you're wearing a ribbon. Sorry, okay. Cut the ribbon. I'm going to say a blessing of Rafa with you. It begins with there are two extra words at the end. So say it with me. Baruch No, just ask yourself. Dayan or MS, which means blessed be the true judge. That's what we say when we suffer the loss. Okay, you can go back to your seat, but remain standing, please. Hail my Rachamim, Shochein Bamramim, Hametzei Menochanechona, Tachat Kalefei Ashkina, V'mahalot Kedoshim Otarim, K'zohar Harakiah Masirim, Et Nishma Claire Bat Frieda David Shalachal Yolama Bavul Shadnach Nodrim Nitztaka Beyad Haskarat Nishmata Began Eden Tehei Menuchata Lachein Bal Rachamim Yastire Abeseit Kanafali Alamim V'yitzeror V'yitzror Rachamim Et Nishmata Adonai Hunachalata V'yanu Avetanu Ach B'shalom Amishkava V'nomar Amen. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure who shine as the brightness of the firmament, under the soul of Claire Previn, the daughter of Frieda and David, who has entered eternity and in whose memory we offer charity. May her repose be in paradise. O God of mercy, let her find refuge in your eternal presence, and let her soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace, and let us say, Amen. And now we'll conclude the prayer part of the service with the Mourner's Kaddish, which is on the back page, right at the very back of this. It's in Hebrew letters at the top, English letters in the middle. So please join if you can, and if not, you can respond. One of the responses is very, very simple. When I say V'imru, you say Amen. So V'imru, Amen, V'imru, Amen. So this happens a few times. Please do that. And any other responses that you know. We'll begin. Yit gadal ve'yitkadash shemei rabah ve'alma divrach hirutei ve'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uvyamechon v'chayei chol beit Yisrael ba'gala uvizman kariv ve'imru. Everyone. Amen. Yehi shemei rabah mevarach le'alam u'lalmei al-maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha brichu le'ila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata da'amiran bi'alma v'imru. Together, Amen. Yehi shlama rabah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Everyone now. Amen. You know, we have some special earth here. The Jewish people traditionally always wanted to be buried in Israel, which obviously is not impossible. It's not possible, I should say. So we bring earth here. Could you wait just 1 second to lower it, please? No, you can take the flowers off, that's all right. Yeah, just don't lower it. No, 1 second. Thank you. We bring earth here from Israel. This earth comes from Jerusalem, from the Har HaZeitim, that means the Mount of Olives, an ancient and sacred cemetery in Jerusalem. I'm going to sprinkle this on the casket before we lower it. So in a sense, as many of our ancestors, she's been buried in Israeli earth. Now, gentlemen, as I I say, the gentlemen at the cemetery are going to lower the casket and they're going to put a vault cover on. This takes a couple of minutes, and it's perfectly okay for you to sit down if you want to for this, as you wish. Yes. After the service, everyone is welcome. I believe it's in here, isn't it? Or is it? No, it isn't. You're very welcome to come to Andy and Janelle's house. What is the address? 509 Harvey Lake in Vernon Hills. I guess it's not that far. Very, very close. Don't get lost. Sorry,
C'est pas grave. Oh, yeah, no. No, but you've got to be able to adjust.
Merci, pas de souci, voilà. Pas de souci. South France is more like the end out of where it's more like the fashion French thing, so Lanzio. If we were gonna say like Lanzi, or like French should be a Lanzio. Like Lanzio, or like ends up, it like trails off. Yeah, that's like also an accent, because I think they try to now teach like very Parisian French. Yeah, it's like people consider like Parisian French as like the proper kind of French, but it's there's a lot of ones that say man, thanks. Yeah, I mean, it's like it's the yeah. Yeah.
How'd you know to bring that
Yeah, I've heard it a lot. I don't know, it's very strange to hear. Yeah, I went to Athens. So that's the time where everything was there. It's mostly just sort It's like one of my favorite things. I like just watching it. That's all I do. Like, do you find inside you can do whatever you want. I studied there for a semester and then in Paris. Went back last year. I can't actually eat a lot of them. I'm allergic to like eggs and stuff. Also wheat, so I don't really eat salmon pastries. But they're very pretty.
Not this weekend, but the one after that. Oh, that's pretty far away. Remember outside? Yeah. Oh, man, you're gonna get so lucky. Because then there's that game, and then after that, and then after that. Oh my God, so, outside? It'll be into December probably. Oh my God, that's crazy. I would never. That seems too much. So why soccer doesn't? It was fun, but now it's going to be like 15 degrees. Yeah, no, I mean that's not. Which is less than 30. That's not fun. We won the regular season, so that's all good. I know, well, it's pretty good. I enjoyed it.
I like that. I gained a lot of weight.
It was whining though. I hate that. Soccer whiners. Too much whining.
Friends, hello. We're going to, in Jewish tradition, I'm going to invite you, if you wish to do this, we place some earth, we assist, as it were, in the burial. So if any of the family wants to, you can come, there's some shovels there, you can place some earth on. We usually put 3 measures on. If you feel you can do that, please come and do it. If not, that's fine, it's okay. Just take care, the ground is uneven, and don't go too close, please.
I know. I'm sorry, I didn't recognize you. I thought, no, I know. But I didn't think it was two people. Hi. That's awesome. 30 years. Right. Thank you. Yeah, well, 7 years we've been back. It's so close to all the shots. I was rehearsing. This is my mother. She wanted to go back. We were living down there. She lived one time, we lived another.
Hey, Rabbi, Janelle's mother, and she's got the hello.
Yeah, at the time of the, I was reading an article that Illinois has the biggest influx. Florida has a big influx of Illinois, except driving from Florida to Illinois. There's this guy right now trying to stop, but he actually is moving from Florida to Illinois. But, you know, I really am happy that I came back. I had a couple of friends. Great. Well, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. We're literally like a mile and a half up the road. You guys have 509 Harvey Lake. It's kind of, I don't know how your GPS will tell you that, but if you just go up the road, behind Pop, sometimes you have to make a funky left to go into my straight. No, but you don't make a left right there. You
The servants, thank you.
Yeah, that's illegal.
understand.
That's supposed to.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Bring your kid. It's a weird thing. Anyway.
I talk about it. I live in a very place,
So close. I forgot all about you. So yeah, it's good to do. Oh, okay. All right. I'm sorry. I didn't miss this. Kind of. This is Janelle. This is Scott Kinney. He's living across the street from our house. Yeah. Grew up with us on the street. This is his mom who lives in a beautiful house, 3 bedrooms, corner, whatever, with a dog. It's so awesome. Across the street, make a right on the exit. Crazy.